Hey there, welcome back. This is Shireen here with another Adobe Illustrator tutorial, and today we're still going to be continuing on our fashion and textile related tasks. Today we're going to be taking some of those gorgeous surface design seamless repeat patterns that we created using the pattern maker, and we're going to be filling our flats, or really in any, it doesn't need to be necessarily fashion related, just being able to fill any artwork with our pattern swatches. And once we fill the artwork, especially in this case, these flats are really shrunk down to about at least maybe say 10% of their original size of what the actual garment would be. So we'll also have to rotate to have the patterns moving into the angles following the grain. So in general, we're going to need to fill and also transform. So today you're also going to see me create numerical and visual transformations. So let's get started. Let me isolate the dress first. The dress is going to be sort of the easiest one because I think at least we can generally agree that the direction of the pattern will be just generally sort of up and down vertical. There's no other sort of angles to deal with. So using group isolation mode, I see that the flat has been grouped. I'm going to double click, get into the front of the dress. I can either shift click to add both sides, or I can be using the magic wand. You'll see me do that later. So for right now, let me go ahead and fill with one of my patterns. Now, if I choose to fill with this pattern here, if you zoom in, you can kind of see I'm seeing through to the back of the dress. That's because this pattern that I created, the technique that I use in the pattern maker doesn't allow for that background tile, so that way I'm just able to kind of move my motifs around. So the background, the back of the background color is no fill, no stroke, so it's sort of invisible. So I need to give it a background color. So again, in our last video, just as a review, we learned that we can go to the appearance panel, choose the object, and then come here and say add new fill. So I'm coming to the side of the panel and saying add new fill. In this way, the object now has a top fill and a bottom fill. The bottom fill I can fill with a solid color, or actually another print if I so choose. Okay, but in this case, I'm just going to fill them, fill the pieces with this beautiful background color. It looks now like my swatch. I'm going to use my magic wand, as I said I would, and select the back of the dress and also the belt, and then maybe let's see, maybe this sort of nice pale pistachio sort of a color. All right, so we're kind of done, except for we haven't allowed or taken into consideration that these flats are actually shrunk down really considerably small compared to what the full size would be. This print, as I designed it, this is technically the full size of this print. So I would want to reduce down my print to be relative in scale and proportion to the artwork in which I'm filling. So in this case, I want to shrink it down significantly. So let me go ahead and use again magic wand to select both sides. In this case, it's also selecting the swatch. So I'm going to do shift click to release that part of the selection. So I'm just selecting these two. Alternatively, I could have also just gone into group isolation mode. That way this other swatch is locked down, and then I can grab my two sides. So all of them are equally correct. So right now, what was I saying I'm doing? It's time to scale this down. So really easily, to do a numerical transformation, I'm going to choose the transformation. Transformation could be moving with the selection tool. Transformation could be rotating or reflecting, and transformation could be scale, shear, or reshaping. So in this case, it's scale. I'm going to double click, and it's here where I would want to say, do not transform the object, but rather only transform the pattern. Okay, so I'm going to go up here. I have to make sure that I'm on the fill that has the pattern. So I'm going to go ahead and choose scale, double click, and then you can see, wow, that makes a great difference. So as long as transform pattern is selected, I can kind of choose, let's see if I can go down to 40. I think that's great. Okay, so when I double click out, I'm back in, I'm back at looking at my, let me just make sure I have, yeah, I have a black stroke, but it looks really thin. Let me just beef that up a little bit. Yeah, much better now. So we're done. Okay, so again, the tricky part is just making sure that when we're isolating now, because we have two fills, we just want to be managing those fills. So when you're trying to manipulate or transform your pattern, make sure you're selected on the fill level that has the pattern. So now I'm going to double click and take a look at my jacket. My jacket gives me an opportunity now to work not only with a print that's running vertically, but I'm also going to show you how to turn or rotate as well. So let me go ahead and double click to just isolate that jacket. I'm going to select that back piece. In this case, actually, I had also saved a swatch because I really, a stripe, because I really want you to see directionally what happens. So there's that stripe running vertically, no problem. But if I fill the sleeve, it's not exactly right? That sleeve, it would normally want to be following the grain. So I want to rotate that stripe. So what I'm going to do is choose the manipulation, the transformation. Again, I could move, I could scale, shear, reshape, rotate, or reflect. So in this case, if I select rotate, I'm going to hold the tilde key. The tilde key is the key that's above the tab key, and it's to the left of the number 1. The tilde key is the symbol that's above the Spanish N. So it's that little squiggly line. If you hold down that key with the transformation tool selected, you can actually visually, look at that, kind of rotate to get the pattern to follow the direction that you choose. All right, I'm going to show you that again. I'm going to also click on that other sleeve, fill with a stripe, holding the tilde key down, selecting rotate. I'm going to just go ahead and get that to follow the grain. So when I double click back out, you can see now that it's looking a little bit more realistic. I can double click back again, just grab that that collar, and when I double click out, I'm well on my way to filling my flats. All right, so once again, really quickly double click. I can also use magic wand to be doing piece by piece. Okay, or I could even do like a color block. Yeah, and then for that piece that's got the print, I also want to go ahead and reduce down in scale. 40% I think is good, 30% would be great, something in sort of that range between 30 to 40%. Make sure I do not check transform object, but rather transform pattern. Once I've got that, let me just also do a last little check, make sure that I think I want to bump up that stroke. I think that looks great. That back of that tunic there, I'm just going to make it a little bit darker so that it appears that it's going to the back. Yeah, like that. Okay, and I would continue in this way until I finished filling all of my artwork. All right, so you see I'm working between group isolation mode, I'm working between magic wand to select like colors or appearance rather by fill, stroke, opacity, and other. I'm also working with transforming my pattern. I use the tilde key for visual transformation or double click on the tool for numeric transformation. So you would go ahead and finish those up, working between your library and your swatches panel, and you're going to get some really beautiful results. So whenever you have a question, don't be shy. Go ahead and leave questions or comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.